Folks, God forbid I or one of you guys ever has to go to the emergency room anytime soon, and you happen to be um, a person of color, maybe an immigrant, maybe someone from the LGBTQ community, maybe a Muslim or Jewish, anybody who falls outside the the lines of white Christian person. God forbid, because according to Carolyn Leavitt, if you do fall outside of the norm, whatever she considers the norm, well, then it's questionable whether or not you should receive emergency room care. Because when she was asked by a reporter, should emergency room personnel, should they inquire if a dying person is what their immigration status is? Her answer should immediately have been no, of course not, because that's what emergency rooms do. When you show up to the emergency room and you're dying, whether you have health care or not is irrelevant. They are required to save your life. Fun fact. What's not such a fun fact is that if you don't have insurance, somebody still has to pay for that. And 10 times out of 10, that is the taxpayer, which is why Democrats have made it a central piece of their argument against Republicans for signing their bullshit bill. They don't want to sign it because they're signing away a lot of medical care. They're signing away higher rates. So that's what this government shutdown is all about. Don't believe it. And if you don't believe it, stay tuned. We're going to get into it. So, with that said, I hope you're ready because I am. Let's go. Story time. Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday indeed. I'm glad to have you all here. This feels like it's been, this 1 week feels like 3 weeks. It has been a crazy, intense week, and I hope you guys are all right. Trump Reaper is asking me, have I seen the new AI Trump video? Oh, she said she's in it, but not on purpose. I guess I have to look at it again. I didn't even notice that. I didn't look closely at it because it did kind of turn my stomach, but now I'm going to have to look again. But we are going to discuss that during the show. Let me take a quick moment to check in with my brilliant viewers here. And I say brilliant because these guys often catch me if I make a mistake, if I can't remember the name of something, they'll let me know. So let's see. We got Zelda. Wait, hang on a second. Huh. So this is weird. I see some I see some weird Twitter comments at the very top. I see Wilbur is up there. Ron Lichtenstein says the Trump administration are murderers. There's Wilbur right there. And somebody named Diesel says it smells fart. Let's see. Mary Weaver says I need to update my profile pic. Why? Because I don't look like I'm 10 feet tall. Some people are so obsessed. You don't look that tall in real life. That picture makes you look like you're 8 feet tall. Come on. Come on. Anyway, let's see. I see my friend Zelda is here. Welcome, Zelda. Zelda, you know how I feel. If you gotta go, you gotta go. But I'm glad that you're here. Meredith Powell is here. Valerie G, Laurie B, Bernadette H, Shelby is here. Lucielle, Sharon Landry. Let's see. Joanne Kennedy is here. I hope you're. She's been in a car accident, but she is fine. I'm glad to see her fine, Joanne. And she made it. See how awesome my viewers are. I'm in a car accident, but I'm here. that's kind of that's wild. I'm honored that you took time away from your collision to be here. Thank you for that. Tracy M, aka Nurse Mitch, is here. The Trump Reaper, of course. I'm gonna have to double check that video now. Tina Bradford is here. Punxsutawney Mo is here, and he points out that it is against the law to turn anybody away at the ER for emergency care. That is one of those helpful things that my viewers mentioned. Valerie G says, what happened to first do no harm? That's a great question. Here's an interesting fact. Zelda says some hospitals do have funds to cover patients if you don't have insurance. I did not know that. I was today years old when I learned that. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right on in. Oh my goodness. Zelda, thank you so much, my friend. I deeply, deeply appreciate your very kind and generous donation to the show. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate you. Oops. Okay. So let's go ahead and get a jump on our agenda for the day. It is big. The title of today's episode is Shutdown, the Biggest Liars, the bigliest liars. And there on the cover there from left to right, there's Mike Johnson, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and Caroline Leavitt, who, if you're like me, you were already sick of her a month, 2 months. You were already sick of her 8 months ago. Now she's just downright disgusting, and she's finding new ways to lower her self-worth, I would say, on a daily basis. And we'll get into why in a few. This week, we saw perhaps one of the worst speeches ever given to a room full of 800 generals. And it was delivered not only by the commander in chief, but also by his secretary of war. This is the most bizarre story I've come across. And I've seen some bizarre stuff. This is a bizarre story that is emerged about Mike Johnson, who Mike Johnson is like an onion. Like, you keep peeling back layers on this guy. And like, I would say like 2 or 3 years ago, nobody even knew who this dude was. And now he's smack dab in the center of it all. Probably the worst speaker in the history of speakers ever. And he is now embroiled in some bizarre, I don't know if you can call it a conspiracy theory. Let's call it accusations for now. Accusations that Mike Johnson has been possibly cheating on his wife, or let's see, do we say allegedly? Allegedly cheating on his wife with a dude on Grindr. more on that in a few. And yeah, last but not least, I did indeed, Trump Reaper, I did see, oh shit, the Trump Reaper. Okay. Is that what you meant? All right. So Trump is featured in yet another really cheesy, hacky AI video that I'm sure he didn't generate, someone else generated, but he did post it on his Truth Social account. It's very tacky. This was meant to be um, him having a little fun, in the words of Caroline Leavitt, having a little fun at the expense of Americans who stand to not only lose their jobs at the hands of Russ Vought, aka the Grim Reaper, but also they stand to lose healthcare benefits, or they stand to get slammed by major um, major increases in insurance. And before I forget, uh, this video really almost messed up um, my fondness for the SNL skit about cowbell. Got to have more cowbell, because Don't Fear the Reaper was a song featured in that skit. I got my cowbell, and I always need more of it. Okay, so before I forget, if this is your first time here, make sure you hit the like button. It's the thumbs up somewhere down there somewhere, and also hit the subscribe button as well. It helps the channel. It helps make sure that you don't miss a single second of my incredible content on the show. And speaking of incredible content, I also have a Substack. And this week, my Substack was titled Lock Her Up to Lock Them All Up. Trump's dangerous tit for tat crusade. His vendettas against liberals are escalating tensions, and the Republicans cheering him on are complicit. Let me just say this, right, before I continue. I have literally never seen a more childish, infantile, immature, uh, vengeance driven clown occupy the White House. I mean, clearly, he easily makes George W. Bush and Richard M. Nixon look downright statesmanlike by comparison. He makes them look like contenders for the top 5 all-time presidents. That's how abysmal he is. When you are the president, even if you don't believe it, you are supposed to at least tell people that you're not just a president for the people who voted for you. You're the president for the people who didn't vote for you. If you're a Republican, you say you're also a president for the people in the blue states, not just the red states. If you're a Democrat, you say I'm a president for all of the states. There are no red states. There are no blue states. There are just American states, and I'm the president of those united, right? So those are the things you're supposed to say. But we have a president in the White House now who is literally threatening half of the country with military action, who has branded half of the voters in this country as terrorists, as domestic terrorists. That's insane. So this article basically was an attempt at addressing the insanity that we're going through with a tit for tat president, a guy who he's all about getting the payback. Trump decries a quote unquote weaponized Department of Justice, yet his 2016 lock her up chance against Clinton opened that door. His second term escalates, deploying the National Guard to California in February 2025 to secure its border, targeting undocumented immigrants for mass deportation and sanctioning law firms like Perkins Coie for hoaxes against him. Critics call these moves fascist, and the label fits. Trump and his base cry foul at the quote unquote fascist tag, yet they pin every mass shooting since January 2025 on radical left Democrats, even when evidence points elsewhere, like the March 2025 killing of conservative influencer. Did I say March 2025? Damn it. That's September 10th. Anyway, you guys get the idea. That is a major typo. Oh my goodness. Um, anyway, that is available on my Substack. So make sure if you're not subscribed to that, it's free, by the way. That one's free. You can subscribe for free, but if you want to support me, please subscribe to the paid subscriber thing that helps support my producing all of this content. And I'm not going to I'm not going to linger on this too long. And I'm not going to talk much about it during the playoffs, right? But it has to be said. Suck it, Boston. My Yankees have advanced to the ALDS, the American League Divisional Series. And I'm thrilled about it because, that first loss, they really had me seeing visions of 2004 again when the Red Sox were on the brink of elimination. They were like 3 outs away from being sent home, and they came back and they clobbered my Yankees, clobbered us. They beat us 4 games in a row. It was traumatizing. So, let's go Yankees. Let's go. All right, and that's it, because I don't want the baseball karma gods to think I'm dragging this out. I'm not. I'm very happy. Enjoy your vacation, Boston. All right, that's all I'm going to say. Speaking of sports, the MAGA world is besides itself right now. It's tying itself into knots. It can barely contain their fury for the fact that Bad Bunny is going to perform the halftime show at the Super Bowl, this coming Super Bowl. And I'm thrilled about it. And that is besides the fact that I am not watching football at all because I'm out of no longer in my fantasy football league. In fact, I'm a fantasy football player without a fantasy football league for the first time since 1999. And I'm a bit sore about it. So I'm not watching football. Kind of watching it, but not really watching it. Not the way I used to. Anyway, Bad Bunny is one of the mega stars on the planet. And MAGA's upset because, they're already projecting what's going to happen. Was he going to sing everything in Spanish? Why can't he speak? Why can't he sing in American? Why can't he sing American? I got news for you. Bad Bunny, because he's from Puerto Rico, he is American. Oh, and also he is anti-Trump because, rightfully so, he does not approve of the things that Trump is doing through ICE with his immigration raids and his cruelty. So, right on, brother. I hope he sings every single song in Spanish. I don't care what it is. I will enjoy it to the fullest. I hope you will too. MAGA's going to complain. I'm going to turn my TV off when he's on halftime. MAGA is so easy to trigger. They talk about us being easy to trigger, man. They are very easy to trigger. And I'm going to enjoy every last minute of it. Speaking of which, the Trump Epstein Skip to Malou statue is back in Washington, D.C. after being removed. The best of friends statue has been returned. Oh my God. And I love it because you can just be open and honest, dude. If you had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein and the illicit activities that are all over those Epstein files. Just release them, right? If that's not your signature, if that's not your drawing, because you don't do drawings, despite the fact that we've got a mountain of drawings that you've done confirmed, um, just release those files to vindicate yourself. If he had something that would vindicate him, he would be having those printed on T-shirts, on those little NFT cards, and books. He would have books printed of the evidence uh, that clears his name. He'd have a little mini documentary made about it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know it. So that's how you know that whatever's in those Epstein files is horrible. Did you see, like, there was a major change in how Kash Patel spoke about the Epstein files prior to his being privy to what's actually in the Epstein files. Before he saw what was in the Epstein files, he was like, "Man, put your big boy pants on." And then he saw the Epstein files and he was shell shocked. His eyes would never look the same direction ever again. Well, clearly there's nothing else to see except Valhalla. Excuse me. So, last night we learned that Trump's former spiritual advisor, Robert Morris, was just pled guilty to child sex abuse from the 80s. Because it's always the best people with Donald Trump. And by the best, I mean the worst. Um, yeah, everybody around that dude is complicit. Everybody, everybody is disgusting. And that's why the people around him aren't making a bigger push to have him released. I don't know if you guys saw that stuff that Lutnick, his I think his was it Commerce or Treasury Secretary? I always can get those confused. Howard Lutnick was talking about, yeah, he was Jeffrey Epstein's neighbor, and he said he was talking to Jeffrey Epstein, and Jeffrey Epstein asked him if he wanted he got up close to him, say, "Hey, you want one of those special massages? I get those every day." And he was like, "No, of course not." Terrible. Why would he even offer that information unless he planned on expounding on it further? I honestly think that he has got that Nutlick has got to he has got to be brought before Congress and speak on what he knows. It's that simple. It's that simple. I want to talk about this briefly, about these shootings of boats in international waters. So, again, today, I think this was the third boat in the middle of the international waters that has just been targeted by um, our military and blown away. So, here's the thing I don't understand, right? Um, drug dealers have been successfully delivering their drugs for decades, right? To the United States and to other continents, mostly to us because we're a very druggy country. And they've found extremely safe and successful routes to use. Why all of a sudden have they decided that they're going to take these little tiny, very exposed boats that are not even that fast? They're not fortified or anything. They just decide, you know what? let's load up one of these very vulnerable nautical vehicles with, I don't know, let's call it $50 million in drugs. Let's put all that stuff on there, and then let's dare the Trump administration's military to shoot us out of the water, because it would be relatively easy, because it doesn't appear to be any other ships in the vicinity when these explosions, targeted explosions, are occurring. That, this Department of War, they're going to war against these narco terrorists. That's the new term they've come up with. It's narco terrorists. It's new, narco terrorist. And I guess by adding the word terrorist onto narco, that he thinks it gives him the authority to use extrajudicial means, because back in the day, they just used to arrest these guys, right? These drug dealers. Look at El Chapo. El Chapo is one of the most notorious drug dealers of all times. And there he is, being arrested, having handcuffs put on him, and going through the legal process. So, look, I don't give me personally, don't give a shit about drug dealers. I'm not here to defend drug dealers. I am 22 years, proudly 22 years clean and sober, happy about it, would be thrilled if the rest of the country suddenly went sober. It would solve so many problems. Might cause some more problems, because then the people who were medicating their craziness would suddenly not have that. But that's another story. Yeah, I don't care. Arrest them all, get rid of them, the drug dealers, whatever. I don't give a shit about them. But who's saying that these people in these boats are drug dealers and not, I don't know, civilians? Where's the proof? Where's the evidence? Where's the court proceedings that we, as the United States of America, have set up as we are the example, the shining example of how a democracy works, how justice works? So where's that justice? You just going to call people a terrorist and then start shooting at them? That doesn't sound like a good precedent to start. Because then, follow me here, folks, anybody, he or the next president or the following presidents, anyone they don't like, they can just, say, hey, so and so was the president. We saw him swinging on his hammock in Hawaii, and we sent the drones to take him and his family out. Terrorist. They were terrorists. We know this. How do you know this? Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro, is the source of their information. Trust me, bro. So that's what I have a problem with. Republicans love to take our objections and twist them all out of context. I don't have a problem with you putting all of the drug dealers away. Put them away. I do have a problem with you in secret labeling somebody in a ship a terrorist, a narco terrorist, and then blowing them to smithereens. And where's the process? Where's the legal process? Where's the warrants? Where's the investigation? Where's the proof? Where is it? I'm not saying it for those supposed drug dealers. I'm saying it for everybody else that you suddenly decided is a terrorist. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, the president of the United States has declared half of this country terrorist. The Democrats, he's called radical leftist Democrats terrorists. So what's to stop him from blowing us to smithereens, is my point. All right, let's get into this shit. Let's get into this crazy business. The other day, the gentleman on the left who goes by, Razzmatazz, some kind of kooky name on it's like Razzmatazz MO on TikTok, said that he has in his possession proof that Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, uh, engaged in some illicit activity with him on Grindr. For those of you who do not know, Grindr is an app. It's like a dating app, but it's almost exclusively, I believe, used by homosexual men. And it's funny too, because look, I don't care who you have sex with. I don't care who you love. If you're a man and you love men, you're a woman, you love women, whatever your deal is, that's your business. It's not my business. I'm not trying to legislate anybody's bedroom activities, even if you are allegedly cheating on your wife or your husband or whatever. Who cares? Right? But if you're going to be a hypocrite and try to deny others the right to have their own homosexual, their own gay relationships, marriages, or whatever, you want to take rights away from them out in the open, but behind closed doors, you're creeping with a dude. That I have a problem with. I have a problem with that, dude. So let's get that open. So this came about because the guy on the left, Razzmatazz, and folks, correct me if I'm getting his name wrong. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Um, uh, that dude right there said, unless the newly elected Adelita Grijalva, I believe is her name, the newly elected representative in Arizona, unless she is sworn in, he's gonna release the hounds. He's gonna release his proof that Mike Johnson has been creeping. So these screenshots have been circulating. I can't confirm who generated these, if these are legit, but he said in a video. In fact, let me just play the video. I do have a video here somewhere. Where is this? Share screen. Hang on. Grindr crashes. Here we go. Let's do that. Okay. And let's do more, bookmarks, story time. There he is. All right.
A message for, hey, here's a message for Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Pay attention, bud. This is for Mike Johnson. If you're not Mike Johnson, you can keep scrolling or you can stay here and listen to what I have to say. Hey, Mike, you have until Wednesday to swear her in. Wednesday. Or I will release your Grindr profile and your IP address. I bring receipts, bitch. You're not going to sit there and actively work against LGBTQ rights and democracy. It is treason. Yeah, I'm calling you out for treason. You have until Wednesday to swear her in and let democracy take its course, or I will release your Grindr profile and your IP address. Connects both to you, Mike. The choice is yours. Do the right thing. Because I'm petty. And I'm not above this bullshit. Go fuck yourself.
Okay. Okay. So he said he's petty. So normally I don't like petty, but that kind of petty, when petty punches upwards, huh? When petty punches up, I'm down with that. But Donald Trump's petty punches down. That's a no good. So the guy's name is Razzle Dazzle Mo, and Wednesday came and went, right? But here's the funny thing. So the video he released, been scrubbed from TikTok. He did release an update, and he looked like nervous as hell. He said he had to give up his he gave up his phone, his devices to independent media source that is verifying the veracity and the validity of the content. And he was advised by legal representation not to release anything online. He said he's scared for his life. Now, I said I can't confirm any of this stuff. It sounds very salacious. It sounds like something normally I wouldn't give a shit about. But like I said, if you are actively using your power to deny others the right to live the life they want to live, then that's a whole bunch of karma that you had coming to you, I think. But the guy, here, this text message here on the left says, "Are you in town for a couple of days visiting DC?" And on the right is the responses from the person who's holding the phone. "Yes, I am. Are you offering me a tour?" On the left, it says, "I can give you one. I have a few contacts. We can go to the Dabney for dinner and then back to my place, and then I can't read what it says. It looks like it's been intentionally blurred out. And I can blah, 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 while blah, blah, blahing." And then the person says, "Oh, straightforward, I see. LOL. Especially from a man who won't show his face." And then he asked him in the subsequent text, "Can you send me a text to identify so I can see what you look like?" And then supposedly that was the picture that he sent. And then they confirmed that picture was from 2023, when absolutely like nobody knew who this dude was. I also wanted to point out that several times in the past 2 years, the Grindr dating app has crashed at the same time, coinciding with RNC, the RNC meeting in Milwaukee last year, and actually at the Charlie Kirk, which I don't have a screenshot of, but trust me, bro, the Charlie Kirk Memorial in Arizona, those servers crashed as well. I find that interesting. There's a lot of strange stuff going on with Mike Johnon, which is why at first I was thinking, nah, this is bullshit. I'm not buying this. This is, another conspiracy. Then I thought, whatever happened to that 14-year-old black boy that he said he adopted? Like, it's such a strange thing. Like, he's not the kid is not in any other pictures. I guess he'd be a grown man right now. Whatever happened with that? Why did you even offer that as anything? Is he a member of your family? Did you adopt him and then just forget all about him? Did you just mention him so that you would have some kind of relatable cred? Like, look, I have a blind side kid too. What? What was the whole purpose of that? And then there was the other weird thing, weird admission from Mike Johnon, where he said that he and his son both use this app called Covenant Eyes, in which they track each other's online usage, so almost as like a safeguard against one of them you know delving into illicit online content. It's weird. So that's why I wasn't so quick to just dismiss Speaker Johnson's possible involvement in this strange, out of left field threat. So, like I said, Wednesday came and went. The guy supposedly gave his information. I don't know if we'll ever find out what happened. I mean, the guy has social media. There are people waiting So you imagine, like, if it was a hoax, dude, that is the lamest shit, and nobody will ever believe you ever again. But if it's not a hoax, Lucy, you got some splaining to do. So the other day, I think it was Wednesday. It was either a Tuesday or Wednesday. It was probably one of the most embarrassing showings of a president and a secretary of defense. And I'm not using that bullshit secretary of war crap. That's nonsense. One of the most embarrassing showings of either or both uh, ever, probably. You had first you had Pete Hegseth telling, that just kind of being very extra, and telling generals, people who have been in the field, people who have worked in their career for decades, decades, lecturing them. This former weekend host wasn't even a regular host. He was a weekend host with fucked up tattoos all over, and a fucking alcoholic, um, trying to lecture them about, readiness. Like, you can't be overweight anymore. You have to have abs, and there won't be any beards. Oh, I guess you can't. I guess you can't draft me. I got a beard. He says you can't have a beard. Whole bunch of shit. You can't be woke. What the hell is this woke nonsense? Come on, you're speaking to grown folk. It's one thing if you're speaking to MAGA, okay? This room of 800 generals, they are professionals. They are professionals in every sense. So these guys, these clowns, Hegseth and Trump, they gave their speeches, and they gave speeches as if they were expecting laughter, as if they were expecting applause. But those don't come, because as professionals, they are instructed not to do that. They are instructed to sit and take in information. And that's what they did. So Trump, commented that, oh, this is the most quiet room I've ever been in, et cetera, et cetera. You can applaud if you want. And he almost said that, like, trying to, how sometimes some people try to get a compliment out of you. Hey, what do you think about my new shirt? Huh? 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 Yeah, they weren't biting. There was nobody applauding him. Uh, excuse me. Oh, Bernadette, this is a clever one here. I said weekend host. She said weekend host. That, wait a minute. That gets to this. Um, so yeah, and he and Trump just debased, literally just debased our military. Donald Trump is talking in front of these generals about these supposed 7, 8, or 10 wars that he supposedly stopped. Like, come on, man. It was bad enough when you stood in front of the UN General Assembly and bragged about that to the very same people who would have been involved in those war stoppages, that know you were lying your ass off, that know you cannot take credit for these things because you ain't had nothing to do with them. Couldn't even pronounce, what was it, Albania? He couldn't pronounce. Azerbaijan, he couldn't pronounce. Unreal. But it's just as bad, if not worse, to do that in front of the generals. Like, who's preparing Donald Trump's speeches to these? Like, are they intentionally trying to punk him? Like, are the guys from Impractical Jokers prepared? I want to know, are the Impractical Jokers preparing his speeches? Because these things are abysmal. I'm saying this not as a Democrat, not as a partisan observer. If I were a Republican, I'd be ashamed to admit it after watching that speech. I'm saying a regular Republican, not a MAGA, because MAGA loves everything he does. If he poops, he's like, oh my God, did you see how he pooped? He didn't even grimace when it came out of his butt. MAGA loves everything that he does, but regular, moderate, there's still some moderate Republicans. I see you guys rolling your eyes out there. There are still moderate Republicans who still believe that a president should uphold certain values and principles and should speak a certain way and should be someone that the rest of us can look up to regardless of your ideological beliefs. A president should do his or her damnedest. And I'm saying her because, God willing, one of these years, there will be enough sensible people to say, yeah, okay, let's give women a shot at it. And not just because DEI, but because they were qualified, like Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris. Yeah, they were qualified, motherfuckers. They sure as hell were way more qualified than that ridiculous clown that's in there now. Anyway, I forget where I was. This speech to the look at the guy on the right side there. You see him zooming in. You see the zoom in with him face palming there. That was most of us. I can't speak for MAGA, obviously. MAGA was like, but most of America had their hands in their face. Like I said, you guys know I'm not a fan of Donald Trump, but I am a fan of America, right? I'm a fan of America. And when somebody goes out there representing my country, I would like him to not just don't be a fucking tool. Don't be a complete jackass and embarrass us. Can you just do that? You don't have to do all this extra shit. Be boring. Don't go off on a tangent about windmills and sharks and all this other nonsense. It's unnecessary. Just fucking say the things you're supposed to say and go. For crying out loud. Shutdown. Let's get into this. So the government shut down at midnight Wednesday night. We've been in shutdown now for 2 days, I think. And so what this means is that a lot of people are we're already going to be furloughed. They're supposed to be furloughed, not fired. But Donald Trump has used this, as he says, as an opportunity to do some extra shit, to inflict some extra pain. Because he believes his job is not to protect, it's to punish. So last night he posted this nonsense, and did he even get permission from Blue Oyster Cult to post that, to use their music? I'm curious to know if they approved of that. I think it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And let's see. I do have that picture of Caroline Leavitt, because I did want to share with you what she said when she was asked about the president posting this video. Here we go.
And you just said this is an unenviable choice, that this is an unfortunate consequence. But the president has described this as an unprecedented opportunity to lay off additional workers. He's posted a video likening Russ Vought to the Grim Reaper. So which is this? Is this an opportunity to fire more workers or an unfortunate consequence?
Look, the president likes to have a little fun every now and then, and I think both things can be true at the same time. The Democrats have given the administration...
Wait. The problem with Caroline Kennedy, Caroline Leavitt, her strategy is to just unleash a torrent of words at you. It's not a discussion. It's not a give or take. It's just a torrent. It's just a fire hose of bullshit. And if you're willing and able to catch her bullshit and then push back about it, but she just said he's willing. He likes to have a little fun. So the context of that is that it's a video featuring the Grim Reaper. Those of you who don't know what the Grim Reaper represents, the Grim Reaper represents death. The Grim Reaper is what takes you to the afterlife, right? That's when you're about to die, supposedly people see a vision of a ghoul, a big, tall, looming character who's basically made of skeleton and wears a hood, black robe and a hood, and he carries a scythe. I don't know how you pronounce that word. Scythe, I guess it is. And he takes your life, right? In the context of the shutdown, the Grim Reaper is taking away jobs. So isn't that fun? Is that fun? Is that fun for the president of the United States that he should rejoice in people losing their jobs? Is that fun? Is that fun that mothers and fathers are going to have to look their kids in the face and say, we're going to have to move because we can't afford the rent here anymore because I was fired because the president just wanted to have a little fun. Words mean something, right? And your actions mean something. If you're the president of the United States, I wish, for crying out loud, people would stop explaining away his crazy. Stop sane-washing him. This shit is crazy. If President Biden did that, people would be apoplectic. If President Obama did that, they would demand that he go for a psychiatric evaluation immediately. It's insane. It's cruel. You having fun at Americans' expense. That's crazy. And before I forget, here's that clip that I was talking about earlier.
I'm sorry?
Should ERs check for immigration status if the patient is dying?
That's probably not a question for me to answer. I think that's a question for healthcare professionals and legal experts to answer.
You understand why I'm asking you? Because Republicans have been saying that Democrats want to give benefits to undocumented immigrants, even though it's against the law for them to get these benefits.
Let me ask you, do you think that illegal aliens should receive Medicaid benefits?
Okay. So that has been the talking point. That has been the Republican talking point for this shutdown, is that, Democrats are fighting to give illegal immigrants Medicaid. But are they though? Are they? Let's go. First, let's ask Grok. So this second one here, Grok, are Democrats demanding funding for quote unquote illegal immigrants as alleged by Republicans, or is that a blatantly bogus claim? If it's bogus, what are Democrats holding out for? Please make answer brief, 300 characters or less. And Grok responded, Republicans' claim is bogus. Democrats aren't demanding funding for quote unquote illegal immigrants. They're holding out for extending Affordable Care Act subsidies and opposing Republican moves to restrict healthcare for non-citizens, not to fund undocumented immigrants. And another fun fact, just above there, I asked Grok, I said, how many times has the government shut down under Trump versus how many times did it shut down under Biden? Brief answer, please. This is for story time, 200 characters or less. And Grok's answer, no surprise here. It says, under Trump, 3 government shutdowns, 2017, 2018 through 2019, and 2025. Under Biden, 0 shutdowns. So, in Donald Trump's own opinion, Donald Trump says, quote unquote, a government shutdown falls on the president's lack of leadership. I mean, problems start from the top and they have to get solved from the top. A shutdown means the president is weak. That's what Donald Trump said when President Obama was in office. Here's an interesting quote. Blaming Democrats for a shutdown when you control the House, Senate, and the White House only proves you can't govern. That's it right there. It doesn't matter if, they're trying to split hairs by saying, oh, but they need 60 votes, and that means the Democrats, the 7 Democrats have to cross over and make this happen. Why? Why? You put a piece of shit on the table. You made a sandwich out of feces. And you said, we want you to sign on to giving this shit sandwich to the American people. And Democrats are like, no. First of all, get the shit out of here. Right? Let's put some food in that. Let's put some sandwich there that people can actually use to make their lives better. A shit sandwich is not going to do it. Right? If Donald Trump is being honest about the $17 trillion that the country's brought in, 17 trillion, our economy is only like 30 trillion, but said we've brought in 17 trillion, and trolls don't even bother messing with me. He didn't say that. What he meant was, no, he said it like multiple times. He's repeated this lie so many times. It's ridiculous. $17 trillion. If you brought in $17 trillion, then you can fix this healthcare situation. Instead, what is he doing? He's funding Argentina. He's giving Argentina $20 billion with a B dollars. $20 billion. Huh? You guys want to be pissed off with somebody? Your whole slogan was America first. Last time I checked, America isn't spelled Argentina. That's Argentina first. He's giving Americans the short end of the stick, unless they're a millionaire or a billionaire. Then they got the long end of the stick. But that's, I don't know what the hell that is. Huh? You fucked the farmers. Farmers are in deep doo-doo. And so what is Donald Trump going to do to fix that situation? He's going to give the farmers money taken in from the tariffs, the very same tariffs that did them in. That don't make any sense at all. That don't make any sense at all. But Americans are not stupid. If you asked me that a week ago, I'd have been like, brother, please, Americans are stupid. But I would say a majority of Americans have started to wake up. And so slowly but surely, the truth is dripping through, even on Fox News. This, by the way, is MSNBC. I can't bother. I can't bother watching Fox News. Who is to blame for the shutdown? 47% say, this is a Washington Post poll, 47% say Trump and Republicans in Congress. Because again, people know Donald Trump brags constantly, nonstop, about how big his election win was, and we won all of the things. And not only that, but Congress, Republicans in Congress have pretty much abdicated any and all attempt to be to be a check and balance against this president. They basically thrown up their hands and say, Don, you can do whatever. We're not going to stop you. And they're not. So he's the one. He's the one. There's not one senator and not one member of Congress. And I would say, with the exception of, for the Republicans, I would say, Republican senators, I would say Rand Paul is one of the few senators. And for the representatives, I would say Thomas Massie. Thomas Massie and Rand Paul are like two of the only Republicans who have dared speak against Donald Trump on anything. I think Rand Paul has spoken out about his excesses. Oh shit! Come to think of it, Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz did say something about the free speech thing, as did Rand Paul. But I think Rand Paul also has a problem with these extrajudicial killings in the middle of the ocean or whatever. Should Fed subsidies for health insurance be extended? A whopping 71% of Americans want to see healthcare subsidies extended. What does this mean? These healthcare subsidies are what help to make your healthcare affordable, right? When these subsidies expire, everybody's healthcare is going up. Not just the people who have their healthcare through the Affordable Care Act. Oh, I've got employer-backed insurance. That shit's gonna go up too, brother. I don't know what you thought. That's gonna go up too. Everybody is in the same goddamn boat. We're all in the same boat as far as insurance is concerned. So it behooves you, whether your insurance comes from your employer or whether it's from the ACA, you better speak up and talk to your member of Congress. Demand that they extend those subsidies, because if they don't, trust me, bro, you're going to have more money coming out of your paycheck. You'll be like, hey, what happened? Damn those Democrats. Nah, brother, those Democrats are trying to save your ass. They are. Look, I'm not on Medicaid, right? But I don't want to see people go without health care who are currently on Medicaid. I don't. What's it, pennies on the dollar out of your paycheck? Pennies? To ensure that somebody has health care? Because, look, one way or the other, we're paying for it, right? If it goes the route of people showing up to the emergency room and they don't have health care, that's one thing. Because right now, there are millions of people who don't have to show up to the ER and try to get a freebie off the state, right? Because they have health care, they have Medicaid. But what happens when you suddenly kick 15, 20 million people off of Medicaid? Oh, now you got a different burden. So the hospitals still have to take care of those people when they show up. But now the state gets the bill for that hospital visit, and the state is just going to pass that cost on to you, us, we, taxpayers. And it's not going to be a neat and tidy little, few cents here, few cents there. You're going to feel it. Oh, excuse me. So right now, as it stands, as of August, Trump was underwater by 22 points on his approval rating, 38%, only 38% approved, while a whopping 60% disapproved. And even Fox News was like, has the Trump administration made the economy better or worse? And 52% said worse. 52% on Fox News. Trump Reaper pointing out here, faux news says euthanize the homeless. Yep. Lucy L saying, now we have more homeless. And what is Donald Trump doing? Donald Trump is busy posting, shit posting videos. Look, I get it. If you want to be a comedian, then do that, right? If you want to be a full-time shit poster, have at it. But you're the president. You're the president of the United States. Conduct yourself as such. Seriously. Because right now, half the country doesn't trust you. And we shouldn't trust you because you've told us that you hate us. The president of the United States, I hate my enemy. And he's called us the enemy. You are supposed to protect us. You are supposed to fight to make life better for us. Not just the less than 50% of people that voted for you. Everybody. So this shutdown is on Republicans, and I gotta hand it to Democrats. This kind of fight I like. This is the kind of fight that we need, and we're not only fighting uh, weak and feckless Republicans, we're also fighting the main media. During the day, it's stunning. It's stunning when you see the mainstream media ask questions like, oh, what are Americans going to do? Because it looks like both sides are at blame here. Both sides are, no, stop with the equivocating. All right? Both sides are not the same. Republicans are fighting for billionaires to have every possible advantage that they can have at the expense of the poor and the working class. Democrats are fighting for everybody else, the poor, the working class, everybody, red states, blue states. That's it. That's the difference. Not, because, they can't come together. Republicans are controlling this. They put the shit sandwich out there. That is the part that the mainstream media keeps leaving out. Democrats are just saying, we don't want to eat a shit sandwich. It's that simple. And that is all Republicans have put out there. Well, this is not the way you negotiate. You have to do it the proper way. You have to sign on to what we put out there, and then later we'll say, too bad you signed on to it. We're not stupid. You either play ball now or we ride this out. We ride this out. Because I know I cannot afford a 300% increase on my insurance, and I'm pretty sure you guys can't either. And if you can, that means that you're one of the millionaires and billionaires that Republicans are propping up. The rest of us, if you're paying, let's say, $500 a month on, I'm saying 500 on your health care, and it goes up 300%, you're now paying $1,500. Good luck. Good luck with that. Where are you going to find the extra $1,000? Check my math, please. I'm not 100% on that math, but I think it's right. Right? 500 times 3. Anyway, that is pretty much all I have about this shutdown. This shutdown is righteous. It excuse me. This shutdown is not righteous. This shutdown is the fault of Republicans. Democrats' position on this shutdown is righteous. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, I support Democrats holding the line for as long as possible until Republicans can put the funding back in there and extend the subsidies. That's it. Here we go. Unrighteousness shut down. Thank you, Bernadette. Here's other Bernadette saying, Bernadette Age saying, Dems, stand your ground, damn it. Trump Reaper wants to know, will you be going to the No Kings protest on October 18th? I'm a bit out of the loop. I did not, this is my first hearing about it. So I'm going to research that and we'll get back to you on that. Now I don't have slides prepared for pizza and movie night, but what I will say is that if you have not yet watched Peacemaker on HBO Max, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you see it. It is probably one of the most fun, most insane, and hilarious shows, superhero shows, I've seen in a very long time. And it's starring John Cena. Most of you know John Cena. He's a very big dude. And he plays a superhero who's he's not like Superman. He can't fly, but he's very durable. He's pretty much just like a super strong and durable vigilante. Like if you hit him in the face with the 2x4, he will bleed and probably be knocked unconscious, so he's like not superhuman. But it's a great show. It's very, very funny, and it's directed, written by that guy James Gunn, the guy who did the latest Superman movie. I think he's in charge of DC now. He previously did the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a hilarious show. I highly, highly recommend it. And there's a movie that I'm wifey and I are planning to watch tonight, and it's starring Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg, and it's called Play Dirty. And it's one of those heist movies. And I think it's on Amazon Prime. And so we plan to watch that tonight. It looks like a comedy, action, adventure, heist movie. So that's that. Meredith Powell says, son and I saw The Long Walk last weekend. Fantastic movie, but a hard watch. Highly recommend. That is on my list of movies to watch. That's based off of a Stephen King story. So I definitely do want to see that. Teacher Laurie G says Peacemaker is awesome. All right. So let's see. Do I have any questions out here that I still need to answer? Because I think I'm running a little long here, and I'm about ready to bounce and get my pizza and movie on. Wahlberg. Okay. Teacher says, so there is a dance sequence at the beginning of every episode of Peacemaker where the entire cast and crew gets together and they do like this very complicated choreographed dance, and it's quite fun. Our fur babies are doing well. They're all getting along, and there is a new one, but we technically can't bring it. It's an outside cat, and wifey has named this cat. So lo and behold, it's here for the long haul, but it's not coming inside the house. We reached our limit with the cats we have and the dog we have. That's it. That is our limit. But there's a outside cat's name is Birdie. Yeah, that's it. We are a cat family. And let's see. Okay, you guys. So thank you so much for joining me for yet another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad. Folks, look out for yourselves. Look out for other people. If you see ICE driving through your neighborhood, make some noise. Tell them to get the fuck out of your neighborhood. Yell at them. They can't. This is the thing we have to remember, right? Have you ever seen a kung fu movie where one guy, the hero of the story, is surrounded by like 20 attackers, and one at a time, those attackers go at this kung fu expert one at a time. The other 19 are standing around waiting for that one to finish and get his ass kicked. And then the next person, one person goes, huh? We cannot let other people fight this fight for us. And when I say fight, I don't mean literally. I don't mean, fisticuffs. I don't mean picking up weapons or anything. I mean figurative fight, right? This fight for our rights and this fight for freedom. And it involves like protests like the No Kings protest that Trump Reaper spoke about earlier. They can't get us all at the same time, is my point, right? We have to attack together, all of us at the same time. People online writing letters, people going to town halls to let their representative know how disappointed and upset they are about the policies that the Trump administration is pushing. People going to marches outside, people talking to their neighbors and telling them the horrible shit that's going on because your neighbor probably doesn't even know about it. And then your neighbor goes and tells their friends and their family. But that doesn't happen if we're all quiet about it. We cannot go quietly into that good night, you know? What is it? There's a saying about people doing nothing, right? We can't be the good people doing nothing. We have to be something. We have to do something. We have to be loud about it. And with that, my friends, I look forward to seeing you all here next week, same time, same place. I love you all. Peace.